Joining us now, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, who's a member of the Select Committee on Intelligence. Also with us, professor of law at New York University and founding co-editor-in-chief of the online forum Just Security, Ryan Goodman. He served as special counsel at the Department of Defense. Good to have you both. Joe Scarborough, I'll let you have the first question for Joe Manchin.
All right. Hey, Senator, great to have you here. We have about 25, 30 questions we'd like to ask you about Trump tweets, Sessions, et cetera, et cetera. But I think you are uniquely qualified to answer the question we've been asking this morning, which is, what do the Democrats do to reconnect with working class voters? And I'm going to be specific here and say what Joe Biden and what Ed Rendell said back at the DNC. Specifically, white working class voters in states like West Virginia, so Democrats can start winning there again.
Well, Democrats in rural America, like rural West Virginia, felt like the National Democratic Party had left them and forgot them. It was always about the working person. We've overregulated to the point we're so politically correct we can't do anything, so taking our jobs away. The fairness to the tax system seems to be out of balance. There's not a chance for an average person in a rural area to really get ahead. So they said, wait a minute, you guys have left us, so we'll try something different. And the only thing I have said is that, not all Democrats are like that. I'm not a Washington Democrat. I'm a West Virginia rural Democrat who believes in fairness, the rule of law, and also believes in giving people a helping hand. I also believe people ought to get up off their butt and work a little bit if they can. Give some effort back. And it looks like we've not demanded accountability and responsibility. So we've got to reconnect. And it can't be all about urban. The Democratic Party can't be about urban America, and it's got to get back to its roots of rural America and rural West Virginia. When you still have, Joe, a majority of West Virginians registered as Democrats, these are proud people, and they would like to get back and say, listen, I'm going to give everybody a chance, but I want to make sure you give me a chance too.
Yeah, hey, Joe, let's talk about the rule of law. You brought it up in that first answer.
Sure.
You know Jeff Sessions. You worked with him as a senator. He's got a lot of respect from Republicans in the United States Senate. I know you respected him a lot. 17 years serving, and now being treated really badly on the national stage and the world stage by the President of the United States. What's your advice to Jeff Sessions this morning? Does he serve America and justice best by staying in as Attorney General, or should he leave?
Well, first of all, just, Jeff, keep doing your job. I knew you had the experience and the ability to do and protect the rule of law, who we are as Americans, and makes us so different than the rest of the world. With that, he also knows that when you take a job such as that for an executive, we call it will and pleasure, Joe, that means you come and go when that person's term is up. So at any time they lose confidence or faith. So, the president has the right to put his team together. I just would say that the next person, if Jeff's not going to be there, the next person's going to have a much more strenuous time coming through the confirmation process, because we want to make sure people in the Justice Department put the rule of law above any one human being or any one party. That's our country. That's who we are as a nation. And Madam Justice, she's blind. She don't know if you're rich or poor or what color you might be or what political party persuasion. She's going to treat you all the same.
So let me ask,
and that person has to represent that.
Let me ask you how she pertains to Jared Kushner. Do you think he provided enough answers in his 11-page document, and his statement outside the White House yesterday? Members of Congress and their staff will be talking to him today. A lot of questions about how he could make the omissions he made.
Right. I think, Mika, this all could have been clear back in November. This is very serious. First of all, the campaign. There needs to be campaign managers with some discipline in any campaign. I've been in many of them, and they've been tough. But you have discipline, and you just keep within the boundaries. And especially once you get into that position, and then as you transition in, there are some serious things, especially going through the security clearance. You better be accurate, extremely accurate. And if you make a mistake, admit to it then, and everything should be laid out. And that's what gives everybody some pause and consternation. Is everything out here? Have we seen everything? On the Intelligence Committee, Mika, we haven't seen the transcripts. We were briefed at 2 o'clock yesterday, and he was in there earlier at 10 o'clock. So we were briefed, but we didn't have the transcripts to follow exactly what questions were asked and how he answered them. We're anxious to get for him to come back before the full committee.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have been there, but you know, we've got to make sure that these people are coming before us, and we as a committee person have the confidence that everything's forthright, everything's up on the table, and again, the rule of law, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
So we have to assume that he was being forthright and honest with us.
So let me turn then to Ryan Goodman on this question of can Jared Kushner be impeached or whatever else. I wonder if we're going too far asking that question. Still want to know the answer. This is somebody that Donald Trump brought on board in the White House with a security clearance, who he deemed someone who will bring peace to the Middle East, as well as head up many other foreign policy communications initiatives, conversations. At the very least, is it fair to say he will be proven as woefully inadequate and unprepared and inappropriate for the job he was given the testimony or the statements that he has made so far?
Right. So it's actually this kind of, on the first question of is impeachment as a possibility getting ahead of ourselves? I think maybe so. It's kind of premature at this point. It's the long process. He's testifying again today, and then we'll maybe see the transcript of these testimonies and see what the others say happened in these meetings, etc. So that's, but at least we know that it's a prospect, just like we want to know, what does Mueller have in his toolkit? Well, what does Congress have in its toolkit? It actually has impeachment as a possibility. It's not just the president. But then there's this kind of suspicious cloud that comes out of the statement that he made, in the sense that to avoid responsibility for what looks like very bad actions in meeting with a Russian government official or Russian government lawyer, he instead says it's almost like incompetence. Like, I didn't even know I was in a meeting with somebody.
Like, as a foreign policy expert, Heilman, you would know not to have that meeting. So if he didn't know...
It speaks of some certain lack of experience and certain lack of forethought. I want to go back to Senator Manchin real quick. We have 30 seconds left in the show. Senator, healthcare, big question. What's your gut and your head tell you what you think is going to happen? Is there going to be a debate or no?
Well, I'm going to make it very clear. If you're going to vote to proceed, then you're voting to repeal. And Joe knows very well that if you go into and all you're doing is working the bill on the floor, it's not an open process. It's a controlled rig process, whoever's in the majority. Harry Reid was accused of doing it when he was a Democrat. Republicans raised Holy Cain, and now the Democrats. But if you want to fix this bill, if you want to repair it, put it in the committee. Let us recommit that bill immediately, the first vote, put it in committee, and let's repair it and fix it then. Then you have time to do it.
Senator Joe Manchin, thank you very much. Ryan Goodman, we're going to have you back as this story unfolds. Thank you as well.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.